Hello everybody, today's video will be about 10 features that are a must do for Saints Row 5 to make it the best Saints Row ever. I believe we are on point, and I'm saying we are because today's video will have the guest called sizzurp. Me and him are in the top 3 and I'm in the first place, he in the second of the Hall of Shame of the Saints Row YouTube community. So since we're in the Hall of Shame, we want to stay there and we decided to collab together. So this is what my boy sizzurp has to say.
Hey, yo, what's up, Aron? What's up, y'all? sizzurp here. First off, I want to thank Aron for giving me the opportunity to do this collab with him. I've been a subscriber of his for years now, and it's a great honor to do this video with him. Now, without further ado, here are our 10 most wanted features in Saints Row 5. AP. One thing I want to see in the next Saints Row game is something that many fans forget was actually a feature at one point, and that has to be the movie theaters. In Saints Row 1, the movie theaters acted as a way to replay missions and cutscenes, but thanks to Saints Row 2, we now have a more convenient way of doing that, through the TV and newspaper clippings. So I already know what you might be thinking. What will be the reason of bringing back theaters if replaying missions can already be done in cribs? Well, how about instead of replaying missions and cutscenes, the theaters would be repurposed as a way for players to submit user-created videos. If Volition brings somewhat of a Rockstar editor type program alongside the next Saints Row game, this feature could open the floodgates to very creative people. And with this system in mind, maybe they ought to let us critique the video, or movie in this case, with a 5-star system, similar to old school YouTube. This would also bring an excuse to open up Peep This and Max Visions, alongside their beautifully put together interiors. So movie theaters and an in-game video editor would be sick to see in the next Saints Row game.
So, the community of Saints Row is kind of divided from Saints 1 and 2 and Saints Row 3 and 4. And the fourth one with the superpowers made the game fun, but not so gangsta. And we do all know that Saints Row is gangsta, baby. So what I have to show there as a feature would be how to implement superpowers in the game without making it a superhero game or supervillain. So this is an idea that I had for a long time. I think I even featured it in my wishlist. But how about we make Saints Row 5 with superpowers as well? But there's a catch. Hear me out. What if when you take drugs, you overdose and you have some kind of trip where you have superpowers? Or fuck it, there could be video games that have you as a superpower person. You could play games on your TV where you have superpowers, and this will be a game inside of a game. And I do know this is doable and will make the experience even better, because this will combine both communities of Saints Row, the one with the wacky superpowers and the one with gangster type, to love this game, because you'll have superpowers and you also have a serious game. So making superpowers a feature that is not mainly for the game, but as a side activity, as an activity that is, let's say, a video game or a drug trip, I think that will make for a great feature for Saints Row. This was the elephant in the room, how to combine the community together.
Next on my list is great mod support. There are reasons why games like Skyrim, Left 4 Dead 2, Gmod, or even any of the GTA games still to this day have large active communities. It's all thanks to a plethora of mods that enhance the user's experience. Mods simply extend a game's lifespan. There's endless possibilities to what someone can experience during a modded session. So to see mod support in the next Saints Row game, it could not only make the game more appealing to own on PC, but it can also be a middle finger towards Take-Two and their anti-modding practices. Seriously, Take-Two, go fuck yourself. But where would we get these mods? Well, adding Steam Workshop functionality would make the user experience much more convenient. So I'd probably go with Steam Workshop. You heard that, Deep Silver? Steam, as in release the game on Steam from the get-go, as in not making it a Fortnite launcher exclusive. Look, I know you guys have a recent track record of releasing games you guys published on Epic Fail Store, but how about just being a pal and just toss us a bone this time around? Please, don't make us wait a year. It was painfully enough with Saints Row the 3rd Remastered. I mean, come on, please. So modding support in day 1 Steam release has got to be my number 2 most wanted feature in the next Saints Row game.
Now man, we all know that the style you have as a gangster represents you. And when I'm saying style, I mean clothing, I mean jewelry, I mean accessories, I mean tattoos. And one thing I would like to see for the next Saints Row is more over the top customization. One game that I still love till this day for its customization was APB or APP Reloaded. Man, in my childhood I used to play that game a lot, and I was mind blown by how many ways you could create your character with the tattoos. You place your tattoos wherever you want. You put layers, you create clothes. Now I'm not saying that we should create our own layers. I just want to say that we could combine Saints Row 2's and Saints Row 1's layer clothing feature, combine it with Saints Row the 3rd somehow, and make us customize your character to the fullest. Imagine if you could place tattoos wherever you want on your body, without limitations. You could place it on this fucking forehead of mine, and that would be dope. Not only on the torso, on the whole hand, or on the upper right hand, or something like that. Nah, man, customization. Imagine if you could place a tattoo on your fucking dick. Imagine that, man. So that would be an amazing feature that will show how Saints Row it's all about customization, making it better than APB's Reloaded. I consider APB till this day one of the best games when it comes to customization, due to the layers, the different styles of clothing, and the layers that the game offers. So Saints Row, you should learn a bit from APB and make the customization even more over the top.
Number 3 on my list, or the third in this case, has to go to reworked respect meter. In Saints Row 1 and 2, respect was mainly used to play the main missions and nothing else. While I didn't have an issue with it, since I tend to do the side activities first, I acknowledge that others took issue with it. So going back to this method of respect, not a good idea. Plus, admittedly, it was kinda useless. Saints Row the 3rd changed how the respect meter worked, acting more as an XP gauge more than anything else. So how about this time around we make it more of a, respect meter? We can have experience points if you really want, but how about making it its own thing? But with the respect meter, it should do the thing it's meant for, measure respect. Kinda like in Red Dead Redemption. Let's say the bar goes all the way to the right, meaning you're good to the city and its people, keeping them safe, helping them wherever you can. This can lead to special discounts in certain stores, civilians cheering you on in public, cops being less forgiving of crimes, all that jazz. But with all this, rival gang members will consider you as being soft, so you're more prone to hood takeovers and being attacked out in public, making missions and activities a bit more difficult. Okay, now let's say you're far to the left of the respect meter, meaning you're a menace to society. Great movie, by the way. This would mean you are feared by civilians, respected by rival gang members, access to help from crooked cops, but are more open and prone to police raids. So overall, there will be pros and cons to either side. This will make the city much more dynamic depending on the person's playstyle.
The third one, we kinda implement Saints Row 3rd. Now the third one, it's about music. Trust me, it's a big part of the game. Now, Saints Row the 3rd executed music in missions in the best way possible. Tell me the most memorable mission in Saints Row the 3rd. It was the one when you had to jump to that penthouse while Kanye West was playing, man. Now that gives you so many memories, and man, Saints Row the 3rd with its music made the game 100 times better, man. Implementing music not only in missions but on the radio. Let's say you want to create your custom playlist but on your phone and listen it from your phone. Make music more accessible to the player. I love the way you can buy tracks on the stores, and that's amazing. But excluding the radios, what if we play music through our phone while we are going through the city, not only in a car? And man, when it comes to artists, I don't want to say too much because the Saints Row is the GOAT when it comes to artists, at least in the hip hop scene, when it comes to the radio. Man, but if we could have Pop Smoke, just imagine booting up Saints Row 5, just like Saints Row 2 would open, and at the menu you hear Pop Smoke, welcome to the party, or something like that. We also want more music, not only 10 tracks per radio. Nah, we want 30 tracks per radio. That would be amazing. And I know this thing kind of comes late in the game, in the development when it comes to music, but if those guys could provide more music and make it accessible through the phone, that will be an amazing feature that Saints Row should have.
Up next, we have more honorable interiors. I kinda alluded this earlier with the movie theaters. Saints Row 1 and 2 are known for having their fair share of massively detailed interiors. I remember exploring the map and stumbling upon doors with hands and footprints on it. These doors led to game studios, crack houses, abandoned factories, the list goes on. I don't know about you, but walking into these locations without a loading screen was equally just as mind-blowing. It was also pretty cool to see all these locations used inside missions and strongholds all throughout the game. So if anything, just leave some of these locations open to the player. Let us revisit them. Maybe add a secret or two to reward exploration. I don't know, go wild I guess. So the next Saints Row game definitely has to make their interiors much more accessible, even after completing the mission. If they make unnecessary yet optional enterable spaces and scatter them all throughout the map, it would definitely be much appreciated.
You know one thing that I hate about Saints the Third? I don't hate the game, it's an amazing game, but man, in the beta, so many things were changed. Did you know that Saints the Third will have a parkour mechanic, even a cover system? Now this should be in Saints 5, a cover system at least. Like we get it, we are kind of used to just crouching and running and shooting at the same time, and I believe adding a crouch system will make the things even better. Remember the jump from GTA San Andreas to GTA 4, with GTA 4 having its cover system that was amazing. It was simply executed, but it was so effective in the game. You had a health and it wouldn't regenerate, so you will need to stay in cover. This will make the gameplay even more fun with a cover system. And when we're talking about parkour, man, the beta Saints the Third has some interesting parkour elements. And parkour in games, it's an amazing feature. Let's say you not only climb a fence, let's say you could have some gaps that you could hit with your arm and just climb up there. Climb to the stairs? Nah man, we're gonna do Assassin's Creed style, you know, climbing back. Well, not really like Assassin's Creed, but something simple yet doable for a gangster, you know. I mean, running from the cops, doing that, you get enough cardio from running from the cops. That's what the boss says. So combine this with parkour elements, that will be dope, and it will be an amazing feature for Saints 5.
Alright, the final thing that needs to be in the next Saints Row game has to be returning homies and characters. Us Saints Row OGs need to get thrown a bone every once in a while, you know? Saints Row 1 had a great cast of side characters. Tobias, Mr. Wong, Lara, Legal Lee. They all have minor roles in Saints Row 1, but they were fortunate enough to make it into the story one way or another in Saints Row 2.
Anyone hit and need a lawyer?
Shit, even minor characters like Samson, Vinny, Helmers, although he looks completely botched in Saints Row 2, and Mr. Wong's translator all return. More important characters like Luz and Donnie make it back too. The returning cast of characters from Saints Row 1 was a neat addition and a nice treat for returning players. This is where Saints Row the Third disappoints. Outside of core characters and subtle mentions, SR3 lacked in the returning characters department. I mean, aside from Jane Valderrama and Monica Hughes, there aren't really that many side character faces to look at. This is where Saints Row 4 kicks ass though. The amount of returning characters is fucking crazy. Ben King, Marrow, hell, even Julius, and the list doesn't even stop there. I also love how they engage in conversation. Listening to characters that never interacted with one another before talk to each other is one of the best things in this game as a Saints Row fan. My only gripe with this game and how they handled returning characters is that there's a ton of them that never made it into the final game, but strangely are still in the game files. But with that being said, hopefully with this next Saints Row game, we get to see some familiar faces from across the series, except you.
Alright guys, so my final feature that I would like to see is Saints Row 5, or however the game is gonna be called. Man, it's kind of weird because I had a dream that I played Saints Row 5 and it was based in the 1960s, 1970s, and that's not the idea of this feature. In my dream, we had 5 playable cities with loading times between the cities, like traveling. Imagine if Saints Row 5 could just freaking destroy everything that we knew about Saints Row, where you had only one city. Nah man, in Saints Row 5 you have 5 cities. You have a lot of gangs to fight. You have countryside. You have a Miami style city. Now I'm not saying it should be a reboot or a continuation, but man, the more cities, the more gangs, that will make the game so big. Imagine like Just Cause levels, man. The Just Cause maps are simply the biggest in gaming, excluding that old game I don't even know about, but man, Just Cause has bigger maps. And man, Saints Row should capitalize on that. They should make more cities, more gangs, and the game will be even longer. Taking out one city, nah man. Let's make these people take 5 cities. Let's make the Saints more than just a gang in a city. Let's make it a gang in a country, or fuck it, the whole America. Now that's a fucking dope idea, to have more cities, to have a dense open world. And I believe with their time taken making this game, guys, Saints Row 5 has been more in development than GTA 5. It's been more. GTA 5 have had 3 years and I know close to 10 months of development, and man, Saints Row 5 has been in development since August of 2017. Now we're in 2021 in freaking June, And if this game is gonna come out even next year, I don't fucking mind, as long as we get a next gen experience that covers at least 2 or 3 of the features we mentioned here. That would be amazing. So hey, that's been the end of the video, people. Shout out to sizzurp. He's an amazing channel. I advise you to subscribe to him. He's a very underrated. His amazing channel has been subscribed for ages to me, and I didn't even know that. He's an amazing channel. I love watching his videos. They're very fun. They're very well edited. He's pretty much one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated YouTube channel out there who makes Saints Row content. So thanks for making it to the video, guys. Subscribe to my boy sizzurp. You can follow us on Twitter, and we can keep the discussion with the wishlist of Saints Row 5 even more up there. So thank you guys for watching to the end. If you're new, consider subscribing, consider supporting me on Patreon. It's all optional, but please, man, I need to get some bread, man. I might be fat, but I don't have nothing to eat, man. Please consider boosting this video in the algorithm of YouTube, because me, I'm a Romanian making content for Americans. YouTube's algorithm doesn't like me, man. Doesn't like me. That's why I don't get that much views. But still, I'm making content that you guys seem to enjoy. Even though I'm the first in a Hall of Shame in the Saints Row community. Follow about this dude, sizzurp. So yeah, man, the Hall of Shame salutes everybody who thinks we're the worst channels when it comes to Saints Row. So as always, have a good one, fams.
For the system's touch. Whoa! Look at his finest, your highness, German president, your highness. Wait, I'm here to slay the demons that haunt us, taunt us. Join us, the time is upon us. Fuck the game, just hold my PS4. I do it for my soul, so with the PS4. Me and rap, don't show his liaison. The whole game is off, use me as on.